Hey everyone, I just wanted to record a real short video, updating a couple of things that happened this week, what's going on this week, and what's coming into next week. I was looking through the Writing Rhetoric and AI website. That's the project for the collaborative bibliography with news articles and updates and things like that out of the web. If you haven't started working on that yet, you probably should pretty soon. What I've done is I've gone through the site so far, and I've hidden all the posts that you wrote as drafts to get started. And I've only approved posts that are meeting the guidelines for the assignment. That is, that there's a citation, an MLA style, there's a link to whatever it is you want to talk about. Then you have a paragraph that has basically kind of like what it's about, what the thing that you're posting is about. And then you have a paragraph about why you posted that. Okay, so you should follow that format for all of these entries. If you're having trouble with that, just let me know. Okay. The second thing I wanted to mention is in terms of stuff that we're coming into next week. What was really interesting to me about some of the discussion this week is a lot of what people were bringing up is stuff that we're actually going to get to very, very soon. So, for example, next week, we're going to start talking about AI companions and AI therapy bots and things like that. So there's readings about that. And then the first activity for the AI writing experiments project is for you to talk with an AI about something. So we'll get into that next week. Some of the other stuff we'll get into later on is in terms of like job stuff and things like that. But all you have to do is just go to the Canvas homepage and look at that calendar, and you can see pretty much everything that we are probably going to do. I mean, we might not do it exactly, but you can get there's some readings I might change out, but you get the idea of the general topics we're going to get into, okay? One last thing, I want to talk a little bit about the how to write like a human exercise. I don't know if that went as well as I was hoping it would. I'm trying to experiment with this a little bit. I guess what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to push everybody to think about writing in a class like this in a way that is beyond school, right? I'm working from the assumption that if you're taking a 400 level, 500 level class in writing, that you have some interest yourself in writing, that you take it seriously, that this is something that you might want to do professionally in some fashion or another, right? And so I'm trying to push people into that style of writing. And that's why I was trying to push people into really studying some of the different moves that these writers were making in these articles. It's not just that they had personal information. It's not just that they had good facts or whatever. It's also the way that they present that, right? They present that in such a fashion that there's a narrative that goes with it. There's a story that goes with it. There's an arrangement that goes with it. That's all designed to reach an audience beyond the limit, to reach a larger audience, right? That's what you have to do when you write for mainstream media, like these publications like the New Yorker, the New York Times, or whatever. You're trying to reach millions and millions of people. And so you have to imagine a much more broader, more abstract concept of what the audience is about and how to bring them in. It's not easy, but it's one of those things where, again, that's the difference between writing for school and writing beyond school, right? So what I'm trying to get people to do is look really, really closely at the way that these pieces, these articles are put together, especially the articles that are coming from mainstream media. Think about it in terms of trying to study their moves and trying to imitate their moves in your writing, right? I think that writing in a lot of ways is a lot like a magic trick. And what I mean by that is that when a magician does a trick, they have certain moves and things like that that they'll do, and the audience doesn't necessarily understand those moves, but then become amazed. It's like, oh, look at that, they made a rabbit come out of their hat or whatever. Well, your job though is, as a writer, an aspiring writer, you want to watch those tricks and see if you can figure out how they do them, right? So you're looking at that trick of somebody pulling a rabbit out of their hat, but you want to figure out how they did that so that you can do that too. It's the same thing with these essays. If you read one of these essays that we read for the class early on, and you really like these essays, try to imitate that. Try to imitate that sort of style in the essay that you write for this first big assignment. But we'll talk more about all that stuff as we go along. Okay, that's enough for now. Have a good weekend. Stay warm. I'll see you later. Bye.